I thought I was doing the right thing, guiding them, protecting them from the mistakes I had made. But I didn't realize that my words would shape their thoughts, their emotions, their very outlook on life. I didn't see how the weight of my past, my struggles, and my fears would become a part of them, influencing their decisions and their happiness. And now, I wish I had chosen silence over honesty. There are things we tell our children with the best of intentions. We open up, believing that honesty and openness will bring us closer, that sharing our experiences will help them navigate life with more wisdom and strength. But looking back, I realized that not everything needed to be said. Some truths only created burdens, fears, and consequences I never intended. As I sit here now, reflecting on the years that have passed, I can't help but feel regret over the 7 secrets I revealed to my children. And of all of them, number 7 is the one that haunts me the most. At the time, it didn't seem like a mistake. I regret telling my children about my financial struggles when they were young. Money was always a source of stress in our home, and I wanted them to understand the value of hard work, to appreciate what they had and never take anything for granted. I thought that by sharing my struggles, I was teaching them responsibility. But what I didn't realize was that I was also planting a deep-rooted fear of financial instability in them. They became anxious about money, even when there was no reason to be. They grew up feeling guilty for asking for things, even basic needs. Instead of feeling secure and carefree in their childhood, they carried the burden of my worries. Now, as adults, they hesitate to take risks, to pursue their passions, because they are too afraid of financial failure. What I thought would be a lesson in gratitude turned into a lifelong anxiety that I never intended to give them. I regret telling them about the sacrifices I made for them. I never meant for it to be a guilt trip. I only wanted them to know how much I loved them, how much I was willing to do to give them a better life. But instead of feeling loved, they felt obligated. They felt as if they owed me something, as if every decision they made had to be a way to repay me for what I had done. They stopped chasing their own dreams freely. They constantly questioned if their choices would make me proud, if they were doing enough to justify my sacrifices. It breaks my heart to think that my love, which should have been a source of freedom and support, became a chain around their necks, making them feel like they had to live their lives in a way that pleased me rather than made them happy. I regret telling them about my mistakes when I was young. I wanted them to learn from my experiences, to avoid the same painful lessons I had gone through. I thought that by being honest about my regrets, they would be wiser, more careful. But instead of learning from my past, they started seeing me differently. I was no longer just their parent. I was someone who had failed, someone flawed. And that changed our relationship in ways I never expected. They lost a bit of their trust in me. They questioned my advice, wondering if my guidance was truly the right path, given that I had made mistakes of my own. They also became overly cautious, afraid to make their own mistakes, terrified that they would end up regretting their choices as I did. I wanted to protect them, but in doing so, I took away their ability to live freely and learn from their own experiences. I regret telling them about the times I was disappointed in them. I told myself that I was simply pushing them to be better, encouraging them to strive for excellence. But I failed to see how my words stayed with them, how they internalized every criticism, every moment of disapproval. Instead of motivating them, it made them doubt themselves. They started questioning their worth, always wondering if they were good enough. Even when they achieved something great, they hesitated to celebrate it because they feared that I might still see flaws, that they hadn't done enough to fully earn my pride. Now, as adults, they struggle with self-doubt, never fully believing in their own success. And I can't help but wonder if my words contributed to that. If I had chosen encouragement over criticism, would they have grown up with more confidence, more self-love? I will never know. I regret telling them that I would always be there for them. Of course, I meant it. Every parent does. We want to be the unshakable foundation for our children, the place they can always return to, no matter what. But life has its own plans. As I age, my body weakens, my mind is not as sharp, and I can no longer be the constant pillar of support I once was. I see the worry in their eyes now, the sadness when they watch me struggle. They try to hide it, but I know. I made them believe that I would always be strong, always be there to catch them when they fell. But now, as I grow older, I can't always be that person. And I see how much it hurts them to realize that I won't be here forever. I regret not preparing them for this truth earlier. I regret making them believe in a promise I could never truly keep. I regret telling them about my deepest regrets. I thought sharing my regrets would help them live better lives, make better choices, avoid the pain of missed opportunities. But instead, it made them overly cautious. They became afraid to take chances, scared of making the wrong decision. Instead of living freely, they hesitated at every crossroad, terrified that they too would one day look back with regret. I never wanted them to live in fear, to second-guess every step they take. But my words made them believe that one wrong move could ruin everything, that life was a fragile thing that had to be navigated with extreme caution. If I could go back, I would let them make their own choices without the weight of my regrets shadowing them. And then, there's the last one, the secret I regret sharing the most. I wish I had never told them about my fears of growing old. I never intended for them to carry this fear, but they did. I spoke about my worries, my fears of losing my independence, my health, my place in the world, and now I see how it has affected them. They don't talk about the future with excitement anymore. They don't see aging as a natural part of life, but rather something to be feared, something to fight against. I see it in the way they hesitate when they visit me, the sadness in their eyes when they see me struggle with simple tasks. I wanted them to understand me, but instead, I made them afraid of something they should have embraced with grace. I regret that more than anything. Looking back, I realize that some things are better left unsaid. Not because honesty is wrong, but because some truths, once spoken, can change the way people see the world forever. I wanted my children to be wise, to be prepared for life. But in doing so, I made them carry burdens that were never meant to be theirs. I cannot undo what has been said, but I can share this with you, hoping that maybe, just maybe, you will choose your words more carefully. If this story resonated with you, if you have ever faced similar regrets, let's talk about it in the comments. And if you found this video meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There is so much more we can share, and I would love for you to be a part of this journey. Thank you for watching.